Tech tip number 29. Start building a Twitter bot. Stay curious.
I am at Jupyter, and this is like a Jupyter notebook. And essentially, this just gives you a place to show your work. Now, I'm going to just start to go through this, and I can't explain everything, but I'll just try to put it in as simplest terms as I can. I'm using a programming language called Python, and it's an object-oriented language. Now I'm installing a library, and this one is called Python Twitter. And this gives me a better way and easier way to communicate with Twitter's API, or Application Programming Interface. You have to have an application with Twitter in order to do these things. I have an application. It comes with an app ID, and you just go through your own Twitter account and you just go to developer.twitter.com to get it. And then I'll just go in here and get my keys and token. Now, I don't want to flash them on the screen because you don't want anybody with your keys and tokens. Like, these are the backdoor keys that you need to keep safe. Go in here and enter in those keys and tokens so that I can connect into Twitter. So now I got the keys in place. I'm going to import the library that I just downloaded. So now it's kind of top of mind, let's say it that way. And I'm going to use something that the library lets me use so that I can send these keys over and then get into Twitter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I'm hooked up. So this is a function that this library gives to you, right? So you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Verify credentials, right? And then depending on the machine that you're on, mine is Control Enter, and you run that, right? Now I can start to see some things that look familiar. I'm like, okay, this is my profile. This is what I have in my profile. Mamba mentality. I got my favorites count, my followers count. Okay, friends count. And this is starting to familiarize yourself with some of the things that you have access to. So if you look at this, this is what you would call a dictionary. So there's different objects that return, right? And a lot of these objects are just going to be key value pairs, right? Created at value, Tuesday. Description, value, right? Key value pairs there. And every time I start, I'm going to import Twitter, right? Because I want to be able to access this. So what sorts of things do you want to be able to do? Follow or get all your users and followers. So I'm going to create a variable here. I'm going to just set it equal to api.getFriends, right? So all of these things, remember api.get verify credentials, api.getFriends, all of these things are user friendly, and that's because of the library, right? And it's not just enter, it's Control Enter there. So now I get to print all of the people who I am either following or or my followers. So now you're starting to see how this object is kind of coming in, and it looks a little familiar. So user is going to have two properties to it. It's going to have an ID and it's going to have a screen name. And I can look through some of these and verify that, yes, these are either people I'm following or that follow me. So that's kind of my ecosystem, right, in Twitter. So everything we start off with, we import Twitter. We can use followers too. So I can just look at my followers. So I can just say, and I'll mark it up, followers equals api.get followers. See, it's like all of these are like user friendly. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not as difficult as people make it out to be. You just got to know what you want to do. And like when you assign yourself a task, like wanting to get followers, it makes it a lot easier to just get it in here and play around. So 266, right? So we're going to get all of our friends, and we're going to see how many tweets they've had. So let's say, look at all my friends by the number of tweets. So these are all of my friends, or not just people that follow me, but people I follow as well. It's like, how many times has this account tweeted? Which is not something that's like you can easily get from just the front end of Twitter. Like imagine trying to figure out like ranking your friends by how many tweets they've had. That's not something that's easily done. So, all right, I'll close it out with this, and then I'll actually have another idea for a different video, but I'll give y'all this one too. So what if I just wanted to send a message to Twitter, right? So if I want to just post a new status or a new tweet, I'm going like this: API post update, right? All of these things are intuitive. Get to it. Then you pass it the argument that you want. Get because if you say okay, post update, the obvious question they're gonna ask is like, all right, what's the update? It's in this object. It's in this variable called message. And then like with all of these, we print. So this is kind of just like run it and give me the output of it. So run